I always dance to this
I bang my head to it. Can you hear me?
music. I can hear you.
Awesome.
All
Okay,
right.
it is 3:30.
Up. Hello. Hold on. Somebody I think wanted to join. I don't know what happened. Oh, okay. All right. Good afternoon, everyone. My name is Sherry Harris, and I'm an instructional technology coordinator with Technology Integration. I always have trouble with that. And today's Tech Tuesday is Classroom Technology Life Hacks. I'm going to go through a few commercials. We are Technology Integration, where technology meets the classroom. Our lovely director is Isabel Espinoza. And then Joshua and I are both technology coordinators. And Joshua's on the call with us. For any information that you have about the instructional technology in your classroom, you can visit www.midlandisd.net /itech, or Joshua has included those links in the chat. In there, you can find all kinds of videos and all of that for our past Tech Tuesdays, as well as newsletters. Speaking of newsletters, we have our tech newsletter that you can subscribe to, and monthly we send out the latest technology tools, tips, and tricks. And also, if you go to midlandisd.net /tech newsletter, you can see all of the past newsletters as well. And Josh, always tell me if I'm forgetting something. And of course, we have our Tech Tuesday slide. There are 2 virtual sessions. The one that's happening right now will go until 4, and then we'll pick up for our second session at 4:15 through 4:45. It is going today. It's going to be the same thing as most Tuesdays are. And I am actually going to start. So I came to technology integration as a from our student information systems. So I was the Skyward expert over there. And I always loved having a Skyward refresher whenever I was a teacher. Like whenever I came back from break. So that's what I'm going to do. It's not going to take very long. You can see that we have a GIF here, just kind of going over where to find all of the information for the guides that we have out there. We do have Tierney Hamilton here. She is an analyst. Her and I used to work together. There's also Rochelle Taylor, who is also an analyst that works with her now. So I am just going to dive into Skyward. Let me get my screen up. So this screen isn't going to look like your screen. I'm in our training database, and in the GIF that you saw on our slideshow, you would see that I was like clicking here to visit MISD for website for the Skyward Gradebook Guides. So today I'm going to go over how to set up a new gradebook, because a lot of our teachers are getting new classes with the start of this semester. I will briefly touch on the new button. I will not spend a lot of time on it, and then I will go over grade change request. So to set up your new gradebooks, if you have some, you'll go to Teacher Access and go to My Gradebook. And you will see I have 2 different classes here. I'm going to click on My Gradebook. And from here, I have to set up a score method. Because it is in the middle of the school year, it is very important that you set it up correctly the first time. So I'm going to choose my score method. I want to work smarter, not harder. That is something I've said for years. I'm going to base grades on percents assigned to categories. I will not leave it like this. I do it because it's easier. Save. I am going to add and edit my categories. And this is 6th grade, so those category weights are 60-40 for major and minor. If you need more information about that, I believe you can find those recommendation or the regulations on the school website. So I'm going to unselect all. Well, if it's going to work. And I'm going to do 60-40. I'm going to click save. So there I have my major and minor set up. I am going to change my score method. And I'm going to base the percentages on assigned to categories by grade period. And this sets up all of my cycles. And if for any reason you make any kind of mistake, you can always click here to modify to edit your category weights. So then I'm going to go back. So then I have this new student. I have student A here that just came into my classroom, and you can see that he already has grades. So I'm going to click on my new button. There are a few different new options that you can choose. For the sake of today's training, I'm choosing option 3. It's the easiest one to use, especially if you have the grades. Manually enter the score. I'm going to put 77 and then 73. If you have this score, you can go ahead and put that. I'm not going to do it because I actually want to use this score for something else. So I'm going to save and enter grades, and then save semester grades and finish. Okay, so you can see that this student doesn't have a cycle 3 grade. And if I'm going too fast, please let me know. I am kind of talking a little fast. So for this, I would actually do a grade change request in order to change the student's grade here. So a grade change request is reopening the cycle. And we often see it, especially right now, we see it with secondary teachers entering in semester exam grades. We see it with elementary teachers with students that might have left break early, didn't necessarily finish all of their coursework, such as CFAs and all of that. So now that they're back, we have to go and enter those grades for the last cycle. So you have to reopen it. So you'll go to options under CY3. You'll go to grade posting status for term CY3. And from here, you'll request a grade change. And then you have to put a reason of why you are needing this grade change request. I often put fixing grades or inputting a missing test score. Whatever you're doing, be as specific as possible, but you do not have to include student names. I'm going to click yes. So what that did is just open up my cycle 3. If I had assignments in this gradebook, I could go back and I could edit the assignment grades. I could use quick scoring right here for term CY3, or I can just click on this cell right here and it takes me to this page, and I'm going to say that this student got a 75 for term CY3. And then I am going to close my grading cycle. I'm going to go to grade posting status for term CY3 and complete my grade changes. And then it'll ask me if I want to proceed. I will say yes, that I want to proceed. And then it doesn't take you back to the screen. So I'm going to click back. and now I have all of their grades. It is important that you reach out to your office staff if you ever do a grade change request, specifically because they don't get notifications that you do a grade change request. So if you do a grade change request, that's great and all, but if no one approves it, that's not going to reflect for the student. So again, all I've went over for the Skyward refresher is the how to set up the gradebook. And if you've already set up your gradebook and maybe your categories are incorrect, you can always go back to categories. And if you've set it up correctly, you can click here to modify. And then I've went over briefly the new button and the different uses. Option 3 is the easiest option. And then I've went over a grade change request. Our department doesn't necessarily deal with Skyward. I am the Skyward expert in our department, but I do try to push it to our SIS team now that I am no longer with them. And we actually do have Rochelle and Tierney, who are our gradebook experts that will help you with your gradebook on this call. I just always love a Skyward refresher for coming back. And now I am going to turn it over to Josh.
Awesome. Can you guys hear me? Okay, great. Thank you, Sherry. Yeah, absolutely. I completely agree. Because when I was a teacher, I would have loved to have been able to kind of get a refresher. And even, especially for new teachers, I know sometimes it's like, how do I do a grade change request, right? And so that stuff can be very important, especially right now. So thank you for sharing that. And yeah, we do consider Sherry our Skyward Queen. So very, very, very beneficial information. So today, like Sherry was saying at the beginning, we are sharing with you just some classroom technology. I guess we like to call them technology hacks, technology life hacks. So I've got a few of them for you. I'm going to try to go through a couple that are really I guess this first one here that I have is more, I'm going to share my my screen with everyone. And so I guess this is more like of an announcement, you could say. And I forgot to do slideshow here. Here we go. Okay, so hopefully everyone can see that. So the first thing we wanted everyone to know about, we're really excited about this, is Adobe Express. So all staff and students at Midland Independent School District have free access to Adobe Express for K-12. I love Adobe, and so I was really excited to hear this. And a lot of teachers use it, but I think a lot of them probably don't know this, and so we wanted to let you know. And so it's already been set up for our district. I believe all you have to do is just sign in with Google, as long as you're signed into your school Gmail account. And you should actually be able to find this in the Google Waffle. A lot of times it's hard for us to integrate apps into the Google Waffle. But for this one, it's really great because it's there. So you can go right to your Waffle on your Google homepage, scroll through there, and you should see the Adobe Express, and you can get into there really quick and easy. Just in case you didn't know this, Adobe Express is an all-in-one design, photo, and video editing tool to make content creation easy. And so it's for you and the students, not just for teachers. You can use it to create really nice looking content, social media, videos, logos, and more. It comes in handy for basically any kind of a teacher. You don't just have to be like a digital media teacher. It's going to help students with, creative solutions for their projects in any class. If you've used Canva, it's very similar to Canva. Very easy to use. You don't have to really be a graphic designer. It's very user friendly. Once you kind of spend like, maybe like a few minutes in there, you start to really they made it very user friendly. And there's a lot of there's actually thousands of templates that you can use for whatever your project is. So we just wanted you to know about that. We're really excited about it. Adobe Express, it's available to all staff and students. Next up, I have just another kind of a quick tip that hopefully will make your lives easier. And basically this one is an update to Google Classroom. So um, I put a little picture in here, but we can actually switch and go look at it, and I'll show you what it's about. So it's basically they added a feature that gives teachers more flexibility when it comes to grading assignments, and I like that because the platform I used to use had this as well. So I was really glad to see that Google Classroom added it. So starting right now, teachers can mark an assignment for a particular student. So like one individual student, if you need it, you can excuse them instead of giving them a 0 through 100 score. And so this will exclude that particular assignment from the student's overall grade. So it's really great because it kind of allows the teacher to be a little more granular with their grading, a little more specific. Basically, uh, uh, well, I'll just read it because I think they really explain it probably better than I could. It says, "We hope this requested feature addresses various class scenarios, such as wanting to drop a student's lowest assignment, excusing an assignment when a student is absent, or any other circumstance in which an assignment should not be included in a student's grade." So, if you're a teacher, you realize there's lots of those scenarios. So I'm just going to kind of show you what it looks like. I'm going to um, share my other screen here, and hopefully everyone can see that. Okay, so I'm going to go into I have a couple of classrooms, like demo classrooms set up in my Google Classroom. Of course, I don't have any students, but that's just to give you as an example. So I'm going to actually go over here where it says grades on the top. And actually, it's kind of funny because I added Isabel as kind of like a test student. And gosh, Isabel, she's just been making really bad grades in my class, and she didn't really do very well on the Mars assignment. So I hate to do this, but I have to give her a 45. You know, it's just terrible. I really wish Isabel would just study a little bit harder. Okay, so I'm just kidding, but obviously you see how that is the normal way that you would grade. Okay, but let's say for the next assignment, this assignment that I called Apogee, and in case once again, Isabel just didn't study. Is Isabel here today? Isabel, can you give me a definition of apogee? Do you know what apogee means? Did you even study for this assignment? Gosh. Okay. Well, since she didn't study, I have to tell her. Okay, apogee is when the planet is furthest away from the planet Earth. So Jupiter is at its apogee when it's furthest away from planet Earth. So once again, she didn't study, but you know what? I guess we can just, instead of giving her a bad grade, we can just right click on these three little dots right here, and we can just click excuse. She did have a lot going on with her family, and she missed a couple of days when I was teaching Apogee. So I'm going to go ahead and excuse her from that assignment. Okay, so that's how you would do that. It's really cool. You can just go in there, right click those, and then there's also a couple of other options, and there's some keyboard shortcuts as well, because when you're grading, if you're a teacher, keyboard shortcuts actually come very in handy. So that's how you would do that inside of Google Classroom. Okay, next, I believe, what do I have next? There's another tip.
Discovery Education.
Yeah. Oh, yes. Okay. I was trying to figure out what I was doing here. Okay, great. So Discovery Education, they've got some really cool new stuff, especially when it comes into languages. So there's a couple of resources. Hopefully, I can get to both of them. So there's some actually new Spanish resources inside of Discovery Education. Actually, not just Spanish, but there's actually a few different languages that they have. So you can discover a vast collection of Spanish language resources available in the Discovery Education experience. Find popular series, core science clips, and interactives to support Spanish-speaking students in your classroom. And then another tip that I'm going to show you after that is something called the Immersive Reader. It's funny because just today I realized that it's the Microsoft Immersive Reader, and this is the exact same Immersive Reader that you will find in Nearpod. So you're kind of getting a 2-for-1 here, what I'm about to show you. So it basically, it's a tool that implements proven techniques to improve reading and writing for everyone, regardless of age or ability. So really great for students with accommodations, or also students who are trying to learn a different language. So I'm going to go ahead and switch over to Discovery Education, and I'm going to share that tab. Okay, so first, let's go through the language. So right off the bat, if you go to your Explore tab, that's basically where you go just to explore all of like the lessons and stuff, because they have a lot of really great pre-made lessons. There's these new browse by subject buttons at the top. You can just choose multi-language resources, this button right here. Okay. And I'm just going to go through this real quick because I know you can do this on your own. And I just want to direct you to the resource so you know where it is. Here they've got actually different channels, which channels are basically groupings of lessons and content. So it could be videos, activities, all kinds of stuff. You're going to find it all in these channels. So they've got a channel for Spanish. They have Arabic, Chinese, and French. So I thought that was really cool. Let's just click on Spanish. In this area, a lot of us are using Spanish anyway. And for some reason, my web page wants to load really slow. It was doing this a while ago as well. Not really sure why. Oh, maybe I had to click on the words. Okay. So here you can see they've got the resources all for Spanish. You can now I will be honest, for whatever reason, I guess Discovery Education is still adding content. So for some reason, most of the stuff you're going to find in here right now is kind of more science, geography based. I haven't seen as much math or like literature or any of that kind of stuff. So you can see there's science, technology, history of science, scientific inquiry, earth and space science. And you can go through these arrows here and look at all of the different ones that they have. There's like earthquakes, astronomy, hurricanes, all different kinds of stuff. And once again, you can use these and kind of adapt them to what you need. And then at the top here, there's actually K through 5, 6 through 8, and then 9 through 12. So it kind of groups those grade levels together. So just wanted you guys to know that they have some pretty good content. They're still putting stuff into that, but there is some resources for teachers that teach other languages. So we wanted you definitely to know about that. Okay, and then the next thing that I was going to show you was the reader, the immersive reader. So I'm going to go to my classrooms. So once again, inside of Discovery Education, I have some dummy classes set up, and or some not dummy demo classes that I have created. I'm just going to go into there's a student I have here. His name's Billy Bob Jimbo. Okay. And Billy Bob Jimbo, he's been working on this one assignment called, I believe it's the United States flag. Okay, so the United States flag, and what I'm actually going to do so that you guys can see what it looks like from the teacher's perspective. I thought I was going to be able to let's see. I thought I was going to be able to impersonate Billy Bob here. Here we go. I'm going to sign in as student. And then as the student, I'm going to actually go to the flag assignment, and I'm going to click open. Okay, so once I'm inside of this is how the assignment would look like to the student. It's talking about symbols of the flag and all of that stuff, right? So whenever they're looking at kind of like the material that the teacher puts in, they'll get this little button on the side. I hope you guys can see that. That's the immersive reader. So the student can click on this little immersive reader icon, and it will actually bring that up, and they can click this play button.
The United States flag and symbol.
So, and it'll play the text for the student, okay? But that's not it. There's some more stuff right here. There's some options on the top right corner, almost kind of like a Kindle in a sense. You can change the size of the font. You can change the spacing. You can change the font itself, which I think is pretty nice. And then you can change the theme. And there's just basic colors, themes that it basically changes the background. Excuse me. So that's kind of neat. Over here, it gets even better. So the second button is some grammar options. And so the student can actually toggle these switches. He or she can see the different syllables in those words. You can turn them on to view nouns, verbs, adjectives, and adverbs. So the student can choose which one of those he or she wants to see, or if not all of them. And they are highlighted in different colors. So, oh, the nouns, those are all in purple. A noun is a person, place, or thing. So the student is going to be able to see that. Really, really cool in my opinion. The best part of the immersive reader is this book icon. It's called Reading Preferences. Okay. Reading Preferences is where the student can actually go in. Now, I don't know why when by word is checked, I don't notice it really ever doing anything. So I click document. It's going to translate. They can translate the entire slide that the teacher has put. Right now, I don't know why. I guess when I was showing the teachers before, I had left it on Arabic, but there are lots of different languages inside of the immersive reader. Let me see. I was going to try to find Spanish, but you get the idea. So the student can change the language. Okay. Now here's a really cool part: is you can close out of that. And here at the top, I don't know if you guys can see, there's this little toggle where you can go between original, and right now I have it set on Swedish. So if the student wants to, they can set their language, but they don't have to go back into that little book every single time. They can just set their language that they want to go back and forth between, and they can go back and forth between the original language and the language that they choose. Really, really cool in my opinion. And then they just choose the arrow to go out. Okay, so now, how much time do I have? I think I have a few more minutes. There's one last thing that I was going to show everyone, and I believe that would be, what's the next slide? Padlet. Padlet. Okay, so Padlet is really awesome. Padlet is a collaborative message board. And I'm just going to be honest. The first time I encountered Padlet, I really didn't get it. Okay. But once I kind of got into it, it made a lot of sense. And as a teacher, it can be a really powerful tool if you decide to use it. So what it is, it's a like a collaborative message board. On it, you can share questions, web pages, posts. The students can post, the teacher can post, and you can just share a lot of really cool ideas that way. It can be used for just about anything and can be easily shared as a link or an assignment. So you can use it as an assignment. You can, as a teacher, grade based off of the participation, based off of students leaving substantial posts, or literally just them showing their research. And what's cool is you can create a Padlet or you can create a post in the Padlet, and anything inside of Padlet is completely shareable. You can share a link, you can share it to Google Classroom, you can share it. It's very easy, and I'll try to show you here in just a second. So you can customize themes and the content and add comments and votes. So your students can like stuff, they can vote it up or vote it down, or they can comment on each other's things. Of course, teachers can grade, like I said, based off the students' interactions. And the great part is that teachers can kind of manage and moderate what the students post. So, because sometimes students are going to post goofy stuff. And so it gives the teacher. Now, I haven't gone into it that far. You would have to kind of research some more of it for yourself. And I'm just going to kind of skim through the basics today. But I do want you to know that you can moderate it, the posts of the students. So Padlet comes with 3 free Padlets. Lots of different styles, as you can see over here, this little picture with all the different colors. They have, like, you can choose wall, you can do a canvas where things are just kind of spread apart. You can do a stream, which is more like a scroll through. There's grid, where everything is kind of like tiled together. So there's lots of different ways you can organize your Padlet, which I think is beneficial because depending on what kind of a class you're teaching, that content might look better in a certain way. There's Padlets that are even like timelines and maps. So right off the bat, you can kind of structure it how you need. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to go over to Padlet. I'm going to share my tab once again, and I know I only have like 2 minutes, so I'm going to try to go through this really fast. This was a Padlet that I saw earlier. I went, let me go back here. So back here in the on the gallery. So you can go to the gallery, you can sign up, get those 3 free Padlets. And they have this gallery here where you can search other teachers and students' Padlets. I believe you're searching through other people's Padlets. And I saw this one that I thought was really cool, so I favorited it. And you can see here in my recents, all of the different ones that I have visited. And so this book report one I thought was really cool. And I got to share that tab because it actually opened it in a different tab. And so right here, this is a Padlet that another teacher created, and it's going through different books. So we've got The Great Gatsby, The Giver. And so what it does, and this teacher in particular used it as like a way to give an introduction and kind of a synopsis. You can see there's plot, characters, and all of that cool stuff that the students can go through. And then if I click on one, it actually gives me the option to shuttle through all of those Padlets, or I can view it as kind of like a presentation. And over here on the side is where I can actually copy this to a post, or I can download it, I can share it, right? Or I can just close out and go back. Let me show you some of the other stuff in here. This was a Padlet that I created. And let me see if it's gonna let. Oh, I think I just closed out my presentation here. Let me.
You did. It's 4.
Okay, give me 1 second. I promise I'll just do this like in 2 seconds here. I wanted to show you some of the other Padlets. So here's one that's more of like a timeline. I think you guys can see that, right? Here we go. Oh, here we go. And so this is more like a timeline type of a. So just to show you, you can use these Padlets for lots of different ways. You know, lots of different layouts. You can customize them. And once again, you can share them. I can go to this little arrow over here on the side, and there's where you can copy the link. You can save the image, or you can embed it into another website, or you can even do a QR code. So to me, and I'm sorry we didn't have enough time to go through all of it. There's just so much to Padlet, but I promise you, if you get in there and start to use it, I really think you're going to like it, because I really like it now, even though I'm just barely learning it. So we'll stick around for a couple of seconds and ask any questions. But that's it for me. I guess I will hand it back off to Sherry.
I have nothing else to say, but if you ever need any help with your instructional technology, please email itechhelp@midlandisd.net. Any kind of technology in your classrooms, you can also email techhelp@midlandisd, or if you're having Skyward issues, you can email sishelp@midlandisd.net. We are going to sign off until our next meeting at 4:15. So bye. Have a great day.